For most of us, prepared meals usually means frozen pizza and stuff like that, which unfortunately is anything but healthy. But it no longer has to be this way. Today, you too can have the luxury of having every meal be healthy and prepared for you, courtesy of Factor 75, the sponsor of this video. What they do is as brilliant as it is simple. As you can see from their website, they offer healthy eating made simple. All you have to do is pick your meals from a menu of more than 30 dietitian-designed meals every week. They will cook it to perfection and deliver it to you, so all you have to do is eat, and enjoy. Whether you work all day, game all day, or you are otherwise too occupied to make the healthy meals you know you should be eating, Factor 75 offers the convenience you need. Their no-hassle prepared foods ensure you always have something nutritious on hand when you don't have time to think about making lunch or dinner. Instead, you can just grab a prepared smoothie or keto shake for a quick snack, or heat and eat a chef-quality meal in just 2 minutes with no prep or cleanup necessary, so you can stay focused on what you love to do, or what you have to do, whatever the case may be. But what if you don't want any random healthy meals? What if you're on a specific diet? What if you're trying to turn your life around and you specifically need keto meals, with or without intermittent fasting, or vegan meals? Well, this is what I like the most about Factor 75. They deliver this and will help you reach your fitness goals. Wellness begins with food, and Factor 75 makes it possible for you to achieve your daily goals through nutritious, purposeful eating. Whether you want a specific diet or not, there is no prep and no mess, only dietitian-approved meals. Factor meals arrive pre-prepared and ready to eat in 2 minutes or less, even faster than ordering in. Meal plans offer variety with a rotating weekly menu of 34 plus meal options and 36 plus add-ons like smoothies, keto shakes, desserts, and more. So whether you just want the convenience of having meals prepared for you, or you want to turn your life around with a specific diet, Factor 75 has you covered. Use my link or go to go.factor75.com and use code POGMIDSEP50, that's POGMIDSEP50 for 50% off your first box. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone.
Awkward. Thanks everybody and welcome to the program. I am Tom Connors. We have Nick Weiser with us. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. Hello, chat. I see our ever so wonderful wrenches, and hello to you, Tom, CC, and Clobby. How are you?
I'm doing all right, I guess. We have CC Karaoke coming in from Canada. How you doing?
Doing pretty well, I suppose. Actually just got home from my 4-month road trip about an hour ago, just in time for MEAD, and just in time to crash on the couch and have a great next couple of hours. Looking forward to it.
Nice. And we also have joining us Clobbering Times. How you doing?
Hey, buddy. Thanks for having me. Great to see you. Good to see you all. My good buddies, Tom, Nick, and CC, and the great chat. Hello, everyone. Hope you're out there for some great meadness tonight on Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't know how long we'll go. We don't have a whole lot to discuss tonight. And I don't want to double up on stuff we'll probably talk about tomorrow in the morning show. So a few things I might leave
Fair enough.
Leave off the table, like the James Gunn Warner Brothers stuff, because sure, Andre will want to discuss that in the morning. But something that came out today that we can discuss. Might as well just get right into it.
Yeah, right. Let's slide in.
This John Woo Silent Night trailer is taking over the internet, or at least in our little sphere. And people are asking, is dialogue-free movies the trend now, especially after No One Will Save You? Because I think you pointed it out, Nick, that there's no dialogue in the trailer. Somebody did.
I think it was
I think it was you.
CC who did.
Maybe it was
Yeah,
CC. Somebody did.
I
Yeah.
know I know he mentioned that the character couldn't speak, but I don't think he mentioned anything about the movie being dialogue free. But now that we're hearing that, that's
One of y'all
interesting.
said there was no
I thought
lines
that-
of dialogue in the trailer. Yeah.
I said I myself said there was no dialogue in the trailer. I thought that was just a thing for the trailer. I didn't know that was like the actual movie itself.
What's the still in this picture here that I was looking at in the trailer? He's got that patch over his
Mhm.
throat and he's trying to scream, but he can't. Gave me
Well, was the name
impression-
Silent Night kind of makes sense now more so, and other than just
Yeah.
the Christmas pun?
Does now because I didn't notice that about the trailer.
So yeah, I saw the trailer. I thought it looked all right. I'm like, oh, so RoboCop Jr. is going to be Punisher now? Okay.
Yep. Pretty much.
From what I saw of it, looks interesting. Sounds like you had the same reaction I did, Klobby.
Yeah, it didn't do much for me personally, but I must admit, I did not even think about there being no dialogue in the trailer. That's interesting for sure. John Woo, yeah, he's all right. He's done some cool stuff, you know.
I noticed a lack of doves.
A lack.
Doesn't mean they're not in the movie, but they're not in the trailer.
Oh, just not in the
I don't
trailer.
know. He usually has doves flying.
He likes
around.
doves.
It's his thing, but maybe broke away for the
It was weird because like I know he was so obsessed with it, and then like we watched Face Off not too long ago, and that one has a lot of doves in it.
Yes, it did.
And then I watched
Ed Hard Target, which is John Woo as well.
Yeah, and then I watched his Mission Impossible 2, and I'm like, God, I remember this having a lot more doves.
It looks fun to me. I think obviously the Christmas theme is a good thing, and I want to see what Joel Kinnaman can do as a guy who will beat the crap out of bad guys. It looks like it's got the right simple concept to pull on your heartstrings, so especially as a dad. That's something that's going to really that would really give you the perfect revenge fantasy. And hopefully we get to see him do what we've seen in movies like Nobody, Sisu, John Wick, and I hope this is these few films that have come in the last few years. I hope personally this is the start of, man, we're slowly diving into these types of simple action movies again. I'm ready for it. I am primed for this movie.
Yeah.
I dig the concept. I don't need a lot of dialogue in this kind of movie. I know what the plot is. We've seen it before, and it's about being an awesome action flick with good kills.
Yeah,
good cinematography. Some good sound design. It can be universal that way. It doesn't have to be any one language. I don't need to read subtitles if it's in a different language. I can just sit down and enjoy it. So I say go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looks all right. Brightest Day audiobook says Fat Man, Violent Night, Silent Night are Christmas action movies, a shtick for now. Yeah, and especially with this one, I think they're trying to evoke the whole Die Hard thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So yeah. And for now, I guess it's just kind of a gimmick. It's working. So yeah, there really isn't all that fucking much to say about it until we see it anyway.
I'm seeing it opening night. I want this to be just a good fun time. I'm hoping it'll be like hour and 40, because I know it's not gonna be an hour and 30, because nothing besides like Puss in Boots is allowed to be that nowadays. But if it's like hour and 40, hour and 45, I'm good with it. I
mean, it's a great trailer. Like shot for shot.
I had fun with the trailer I saw. Yeah.
And WALL-E is one of my favorite movies, which is a completely different genre. But I love what
WALL-E's
they did
great,
there.
though.
Like I'll always remember that. You can do a lot without dialogue. And I'd be interested to see what they're going to do here. Like, is it going to be balls to the wall action like John Wick 3, or is it going to have tension moments?
Indeed, which is it going to be?
I don't think it's gonna be bad. It's sometimes you look at trailers like this can't be a bad movie. It might be an okay movie. It might be a great movie, but I don't think this is gonna be bad.
Yeah. At least it's a movie.
Well,
Clubby,
look,
at least it's a movie.
At least it's a movie. And it might just let's let it be at that. Leave it at that. It's a movie, and it was either good or bad, and that's all. Either good or bad, and gosh darn it, isn't that enough for a change?
right now, that's actually pretty excellent.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna need a little more to be just a movie that exists, but I get your points, both of you. One obviously being funny, the other two, maybe that's fine. For me, no, it's got to be more than just that. It's just got to be, hey, let's have fun with this. We don't need to overthink it. Just get in, get out, and before you know it, flicks over. Push the repeat button.
No preaching.
I think you're right. An hour 30, an hour 40 be good. I don't want this to be 2.5 hours.
Well, speaking of that, I noticed that the Equalizer's already on video on demand.
The third one?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, it's only an hour and 45 minutes or whatever. I'm like, nice.
Yeah, it's the shortest one of the three by like 15, 20 minutes. Yeah.
We need to get back to shorter films. I'm getting sick
The Marvels is what, an hour and 45
the
That's been
Marvels
chopped down to an hour and 45 minutes, I heard. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Get them in and get them out.
Getting close, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Maybe this once again more little subtle signs that we're getting there.
You going, Tom?
To the Marvels?
Yeah.
Are you going to be forced to go see it?
Oh.
You serious?
I'm so sorry.
You serious?
Just wondering.
No, I'm not likely. I have not seen. You know what? I think the only couple of Marvel movies I've seen in the last few years, I did not see Shang-Chi. I have not sat through the Eternals.
Lucky you.
You on Eternals, oh boy.
Trying to think, what else have I avoided?
I have not seen a since.
I did see Thor, and I did see Doctor Strange, but I didn't see Ant-Man. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Well, this will be the first one. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Not since Doctor Strange and the Mom. I haven't seen any.
Well, if I'm able to avoid this one, if I'm able to not get dragged to this one, it'll be the first one I haven't seen.
Oh, can Klobby make it to the first one ever to not see? Find out on the next episode of Midnight's Edge After Dark.
I mean, no one really needs for me to see it, right? Except my one friend.
We'd love to hear you bitch about it.
Dude, I will.
Nick S asks, have any of us seen The Creator any good? I have not. Has anybody else here seen it yet?
I have not seen it, but I did see the Critical Drinkers review on it. Sounds like he enjoyed it. So
Andre did not.
The boss is gonna tell you to go see the Marvels.
Andre did not like it. No. No, he did not like the Creator.
Oh, he didn't like the Creator. Interesting. Yeah.
Drinker
liked it. He didn't wasn't over the moon about it, but he thought there was some.
Didn't sound like Mr. H liked it all that much either. He thought it was okay. It sounded like, but
okay.
Andre said it was very pretentious, and he laughed when I said it. It sounds like Gareth Edwards is doing his best impression of Neil Blomkamp.
Tom Condos. I saw The Creator. You must see the Marvels in return.
That was pretty close. Not bad. Pinochet says, yeah, this isn't a 4K show, but can you explain why Netflix and Amazon do not release physical media? Would there be a market for it? Money left on the table. Well, they do in some cases. It depends on who owns it. For the most part, though, they want to keep it on their service, so you have to go to their service to watch it. Now, in fact, it's funny you mentioned this because, like, just earlier today, out of nowhere, Mill Creek next week is dropping the He-Man CGI animated series from Netflix, for instance. Stranger Things and a few other movies here and there have made their ways to video. Air is coming out on video this month here, I believe. So you can get that one. There's been a few Netflix movies. The Scorsese one, the Criterion Collection, The Irishman released that one. I've seen a few others out there. Eventually, they do. They just like to keep them proprietary to the streaming service for a while, so they can benefit from them, especially if they spent a buttload of money to produce them or buy them, for instance. But even Coming to America 2 came to Blu-ray. I mean, of course, that was Paramount via Amazon, but yeah, eventually, I'm sure some of them may make their way out. It's just, again, it's more of a thing to try and keep people on their service. I haven't heard anything about Tetris yet, but Air has been announced. Yes, I see people are asking about Tetris. Yeah, Coming to America did suck.
I've wondered about that. It's like if you're paying 15 or 20 bucks a month and you actually use the streaming service, watch 10, 15, 20 movies versus being somebody who actually enjoys physical media, but there's 100 things on Netflix you'd want to watch anyways, and maybe you buy 10 of them. Is that going to stop you from being a subscriber? But you already gave them 200 bucks for the physical media. It seems like it would be a financial win. I mean, I don't have the expertise to know, but I've always kind of wondered about that.
They've been reluctant, but like Prey just come out here recently. That was the Hulu one. The Predator prequel, whatever. So I mean, they do from time to time. Cobra Kai's on DVD, but not Blu-ray, for instance. But
Really, why did you do that? Why?
That's a strange move.
I don't know. Maybe see. I wonder if some of them have license deals where they're only allowed to release them in certain resolutions, and that's the deal. Is Netflix has the exclusive on the high def version, but Sony's allowed to release them on DVD and nothing else. Yeah.
Well, the Orville's only out on DVD, never did on Blu-rays.
See, now that one, I don't know if it's a similar thing or if it's just because it makes no sense. And then, like, recently people are griping because Strange New Worlds is getting a 4K release.
Oh.
Picard only got a regular Blu-ray release.
Oh, God.
Which they fucked up.
Jesus. Oh, boy. Like anyone's going to buy any of that crap.
Special editions.
Actually, the Picard season 3 is selling pretty good, but yeah.
Ugh.
Packing an art
I know
book.
you didn't want to hear that, but
yeah, you're right. I have to face the music sometimes.
Yeah.
That's why Klobby saying the Marvels will be one of the greatest rants. Like maybe next time Mexican Iron Man. Also, if any two people need to say it, we need to find a way to get plane tickets and put them together in the same theaters. See it.
What does that crap? What does that
have
crap
an out of theater reaction from Klobby and Mexican Iron Man?
When does that crap come out, Nick?
Let me find out.
Because we're getting close to that time. My buddy that always makes me go see the Marvels movies. Me. We always go see them together. You know,
with a gun, just puts it to your head and says,
"No, I mean,
go.
it's kind of a long story. He can't really make it himself up." November 10th. Oh my God. Well, you know, I bring him
over a month.
He's certain disabilities, you know, and I bring the movies together. He wants to see pretty much. Actually, he let me off the hook with something recently, but for the most part, we go. It's all the Marvel movies since like 2010 or whatever. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I go, so you don't. I'll text him like a couple of weeks when you don't really want to go see ... Yeah, I do. Okay, man. So this one, I'm like, do I text him this time or do I forget about it till November the 13th or something like that? Oh, did you want to go see? Oh man, no, I'm sorry. I'm teasing him. He's a good friend of mine. So I guess it's getting close to that time. I need to text him. So, dude, the Marvels. That's a no on that one, right? We can skip that. We can skip that one, right? Right?
No, I want to see
it. Come on, man.
Maybe you got lucky and he didn't watch the Miss Marvel TV show.
Oh, he did.
Oh, well, then you're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy. We go. Man.
I did have this. Oh, go ahead.
No, he didn't even. It's always Marvel with him. He'll go see a DC every once in a while. He didn't go see Blue Beetle, but I went and saw it without him.
I just watched that the other day. It is the most mediocre movie I have ever watched in my life.
It is.
It literally, like, everything in it. I hate saying this. Is Polly in the chat so I don't get slapped?
Polly.
It is like it's like the cheap Mexican knockoff of a Spider-Man movie, basically, or an Ant-Man movie. I'm serious, because like that's the only thing that makes it unique is that it has a Mexican flavor. I don't mean it to sound racist, but it's like Everything in that movie is just like either Ant-Man or Spider-Man, and we've seen it a million times before. Is it bad? No. Is it good? No. What's the worst part? The worst part was George Lopez was the best part of your fucking movie.
I hated him.
I don't like him, but he was the only part that I ended up laughing at sometimes. I got to the point where I'm like, actually kind of didn't hate his character. I got him. I got the joke with the whole Batman's a fascist and all that.
You knew what he was, yeah.
Yeah, his whole, like, he's exactly what I said. He's going to be this conspiracy theorist, fucking,
right. The wacky uncle.
Wackadoo uncle, yeah. And he played it pretty well. I'll give him fucking credit where credit's fucking due. Jolo was fine, but overall, yeah, exactly, Toxic Dust. It's a TV movie. It felt so by the numbers, by the book. Everything was happening because movie. Susan Sarandon is fucking phoning it in. This is one of the worst performances she's ever given in her life.
Yes.
And I like her, so.
I do too. I mean, even though she can be politically crazy sometimes, but as an actress, I think she's more one of the undersung actresses. She literally is just like, I think she's reading shit off of cue cards. Because she's just like barely there. She's just like, it's like, how generic can you act? Right. And the same thing with everybody else in the family. And it's very predictable. Like, so fucking predictable. Right down to when certain characters are going to die and shit. Like, it's so just, I hate making it sound like it was that bad. Cause I mean, I didn't hate it. Like, I've had worse experiences with movies, but at the same time I was bored. So I guess that's even more of a sin than being bad, I guess.
It is a tragic waste of a Solo because he's really good. He could have been really good in a movie. He could have carried a movie if given a good one.
Yeah, and it feels like this movie was butchered.
May not have his redemption,
and it does feel like the movie was butchered. It feels like, even though it's already overly long, it feels like there was a good half hour, 45 minutes cut out of it.
Okay.
Yes,
like, it's just very choppy and a lot. I mean, it's not like narratively it makes enough sense, but it just feels like there's been something lifted out of this movie because it's constantly moving, but it still isn't it wasn't keeping my interest. I kept noticing I was checking my phone and shit all the time.
That's always a good sign.
Yeah.
The quality of a movie, you have to check your phone.
Well, D-Bud, there was that. She did have a nice rack, at least, even though at her age, it's still looking pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
But this was another thing I brought up that kind of broke the internet for half a minute. I reminded everybody that we're getting a Roadhouse remake.
What?
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
and this is real.
Movie. Yeah,
this is real. Now it's not Ewan McGregor. It's the
Conor
McGregor. MMA. Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow.
I don't know if this is a real poster or not, but it looks like it might be. Now something about this movie, like it takes place on a boat or some shit. Because here's an image from the movie. That's the Connor guy. Yeah. So, and then we got where was the other one from behind the scenes? Because I was posting it everywhere. Anyway, I had one of the some chick. She's like on a beach. So clearly there's some like boat or something that has to do with this. I don't fucking know why they're even trying to do this. I don't know.
It's actually shocking that they didn't go a female version of it. Granted, I don't want this to
that was the plan for a while. They were going to do one with Ronda Rousey. I don't know if you remember that. I shit you not. This is what became of it, though. I mean, somebody at least got a better head of themselves and going, oh, well, God, at least we're not going to do it that way. But who thought this was a good idea?
Every studio who decides to just remake anything they want.
Idiots who remake things. That's a.
Well, Amazon owns it now, so I guess they can do whatever they want.
Be nice till it's time to not be nice or whatever.
But I guess it sounds more like Roadhouse Boat.
Nice.
Yeah, well.
Wow.
We had that.
Sounds wonderful.
Dave Tripera is here and says, which one will make less money? If I could fucking talk today, sorry. Aquaman 2, Snow White, or Marvel's? P.S. I want an interview with the vampire in 4K. I'm sure Warner Brothers will get around to that one. That was a pretty popular one of theirs. So I wouldn't be surprised if when did it come out? 94?
Yeah.
95? So yeah, we're coming up on the anniversary. Generally around the anniversary is when you can expect a re-release like that.
My guess on this is Snow White, because the Marvels, they're going to try to cover it up. They're going to try to really do a lot of damage control on that.
I'll put
And
it like
Aquaman
this.
too.
I think Marvels will come out the most even. I think Snow White will do the least amount will do better at the box office, but will have cost so much it didn't really do well. Aquaman 2, I don't know. I guess that at the end of the day, that's kind of the
Momo's still your wild card. He's still
that's what exactly. Klobby's reading my fucking mind here. Momoa's a wild card, and if he can pull in an audience, maybe Aquaman has a chance of doing better at the box office than those other two.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe that one will fall somewhere in the middle of Snow White and the Marvels. I don't know.
I think Snow White's gonna make the least. I'm really betting my, and it's not. And here's the thing: I don't even think it's because of all the Rachel.
Right. That's kind of what I said. Yeah.
I just truly think it's just there's not that type of interest for that type of movie just to be even remade. I don't even think that movie has just solidified its legacy,
especially without anything that made it what it was. Films. Right? You need to have the dwarves and stuff, and
it's not a recognizable movie. Even if you look at the trailer, even if she was an outstanding citizen, you just looking at it, it doesn't feel or look like a Snow White movie. It just
great example, right?
There.
I mean, Little Mermaid aside, because I mean we all kind of agree that was kind of a crapshoot of sorts, I guess. I did not see this movie, but the original is my most favorite classic Disney film. And I am still tempted to watch this just because, even though I've heard so many bad things about it, it looks like the original fucking animated Disney Pinocchio.
At least they did that, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what have we seen so far of Snow White? And then to a lesser extent, The Little Mermaid, because that's to me what we're doing here now is all of a sudden we're getting so far from the mothership. Like, what's next? Aristocats with dogs?
Especially Snow White. It's the biggest.
That's what I mean. I keep making the joke, right? Like, I keep making the joke that they're accidentally backing themselves into an original film.
Right.
Without even realizing it. Because it has so little to do with the original Snow White now. They might as well have just called it The Princess and the Bandits or something like that.
Yeah.
They'll probably just, once they run out of movies to do, they'll probably just start back over and do them all again. I'm not joking either. I think they're just gonna do them all again. Like, you know what? Whatever. Most of these didn't work. Some of them made money, but you know what? We're just gonna do them all again. We're at the point now where they're thinking just keep rebooting it until we find a version that lands. That's what I think that's where they're at with this regime and how they're operating these movies. One of these versions of a movie is going to land. And it's just like, at that point, like, no matter how much money they get from ESG, even ESG can't save that type of company.
Because as they're ramping this all business up, we're starting to hear more about this live action Bambi, because the writer was in an interview and hinted that they're going to soften the death of Bambi's mother in the remake, for instance. I don't know how exactly you can do that, but...
Well, I got one thing to say, like Chris Farley. They killed Bambi. You don't remember, man? Tommy Boy?
Of course.
Okay, I was going to say, I just see 3 mics off. I'm like, and I'm the only one here. Well,
no, of course, I've got to deal with a crisis right in the middle of my show here. Hang on, sorry.
No, you're good,
Talks
man.
amongst yourselves.
All right. Hi, CC.
I mean, I don't mind if they take the
gone,
hard visual out.
You and I get
in
to
this case.
Destroy this place. Yes, go on.
I don't mind if they take the hard visual out in this case, although I think they should leave it, as long as they don't cheapen the impact. It's a little bit surprising though, because I mean, you're talking about like a forest fire, which should be ESG friendly right now. It's it's big environmental. There's a lot of it going on. You could be hard with that, but it's the direction we're going. I saw jokes on Twitter about, I was like, well, they're just going to kill Bambi's dad instead, which I don't think I'd be totally surprised at this point,
Oh,
considering
I'm
where they're
gonna
going with Snow
steal
White.
from Rodimus Supreme, and he beat me to it. He is right. The original was very soft. The death was not something that you actually see. So the fact that they're saying this it's just another one of those things where this is basically kind of, in my opinion, another meaningless movie where no character dies, nothing truly matters, no one's motivated from loss or from grief. It's just another safe story. That's all that it is. It's just fairy tale La La Land trash to me is what I get out of that. You can't really soften a death. A death is a very bad, tragic thing, but when you're supposed to come out the other side of it, you would hope that you learn something, maybe lessons that so and so taught you, what the memories that brought to you from whom you lost. Instead, no, we're just gonna get we need a softness to accommodate to sensibilities. No, stop getting into this trash with this. This is never gonna ever be enough for this audience, and that's the thing. Like, they have never said, okay, hey, we've had enough of our modern sensibility appeal. You can go back and Florida Man everything. No, they just gonna want more. It just, there's no point in trying to accommodate these people anymore.
It's also like The Lion King, right? This isn't a live action remake; it's a 3D remake at this point. They're not going to have live action Bambi any more than they had live action Lion King, which is strange because I guess that was Jon Favreau too, but The Lion King was actually one of the more successful ones. But when you look at Aladdin, which probably was in the upper tier of success with these movies, that was a movie that actually made sense. Whether or not you like the genie in the live action adaptation, the movie itself was really well suited for it, right?
I don't know, man. I'll take Robin Williams any day.
And The Little Mermaid is probably the worst suited of them all. There's just no way that was ever going to translate.
Dead on arrival. And that was part of The Little Mermaid was part of that big second wind Disney revival when Disney was kind of back on the upswing between that and Aladdin and a few other movies. Like, if The Little Mermaid can't do those types of numbers, what makes you think that Snow White's going to do any better?
That's what Valiant Renegade was saying earlier today.
I know it's one of the first ever anime movies that ever came out, and maybe I'm sure with adjusted for inflation, it probably still has more money than most. It's just, I don't see that ever happening. And I could try as very hard, because I can at least try my best to look at this objectively, a little bit more objectively. It just doesn't seem like people care to want to have that. And it seems like whenever they put out originals like that, what was that movie called? Kanto, I think. And then they did that that one. What's that one that came out? Elemental. They don't really commit to them. And what I mean by not commit to them, they don't really go all in on promotion. They don't go in to hype them up. They've
been very generic lately too. I mean, even though in Kanto,
I'm sure they have. Okay, I'm sure they have.
Well, in that very case, that's like, I got this when I posted.
I don't doubt that.
And their Wish movie, like, there's nothing to it. Like, what the fuck? They're just trash anymore. But yeah, anyway, sorry.
Even if if all that's true, Tom, the whole gist is that they're not putting any time to garner interest, garner hype, garner enthusiasm, get people like, hey, get excited, look at this fresh story we got. They're just, oh, hey, we're putting this out just to say we did the minimum effort of made some original story.
No, you're right. They really have not
put any energy into these X amount of reboots, remakes, sequel,
you're 100% correct.
Yeah, that's my issue.
No, I agree with you 100%. I've seen it, and we've all seen it, and this is what we've even seen them pull Encanto's advertising money and put it towards, was it Little Mermaid or whatever it was at that time? Like, yeah, they're not doing what they used to do. I mean, I'm surprised we haven't had a couple of live action Bambis out of Disney by now with real deer. Like that feels like something that would have happened in the 90s for some reason. But now, like, who wants to see a bunch of CGI animated deer and rabbits and skunks run around for 2 hours? I just don't understand.
I loved Homeward Bound, and I would not want
Yeah.
to see that CGI'd.
That's
It
what I
was
mean,
great.
CC. Like during that era, I could have seen them doing a live action Bambi with actual animals, right?
I mean, I
Back when
never
you
got
could
much
still
into
get
the
away with animal cruelty.
I never got much into the Air Bud movies and all that in that whole series.
Yeah,
But
no,
again,
I
I
mean,
you know, it worked for what it was.
I mean,
I'd
I'm
ra-
just
I'd
saying
rather
that was the era. It seemed like they were doing a bunch of those animal movies, though.
yeah, the 90s. That's when the
anyway.
turtles were actually, in costume as well.
True. Let's see what the guys are talking about in the chat. Pinochet says when they remake Pinocchio, it'll be pro-communist allegory. They already did, as opposed to the original. That's the point. Remake everything for a new social context. Well, what they changed in the new Pinocchio that I heard was basically mostly the Pleasure Island stuff. Instead of them smoking and drinking, they're drinking root beer and just like being kids. It's like it makes no sense from what I heard. But I did not see it yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, Pinochet's right on that comment, though. It's all about changing the social
Mm-hmm.
context of this is how it's always meant to be. Of course it is. Revisionist history 101. But carry on, Tom.
No. Waltman 4 says, hello, this is a test with the last 30 minutes of your day. With the last 30 minutes of your day, and we will show you the worst Disney clips throughout your phones and smart TVs. I think he meant this is a test. For the next 30 minutes, we're going to be showing you the worst clips. I think is what he meant for it to be like. Tiger Valley says, fun fact, Walt hired Japanese refugees, social outcasts at the time, World War II, to work on Bambi and incorporated their artistic style in the film Racist.
Ross.
Yeah.
Evil.
I was gonna say, I think he employed a lot of anime styles in that film, yeah. If I remember correctly. But yeah. There wasn't much else. What do you guys want to talk about out there in the chat? What should we talk about? It's a really slow news day, really, for the most part. I mean,
I've been gone all day, and I took me figure something would have happened. One thing I do want to talk about is those really cool decorations you got there, Tom. Look at that, man. You got Wolfman and
you like those? Those are like in the image of those old decorations like we used to have when we were kids. But these are like the Universal monsters. I got Chucky. You can't see him here because he's off to the left. I got Michael Myers over there.
Oh yeah.
So I got a few of them.
Cool stuff.
I'm going to send you guys photos. We got our place Halloweened out. It's pretty great, right?
I got some other cool stuff. I just got to figure out how to use it. But yeah,
nice.
I like the Wolfman the most of all of them because that looks so classy.
Yeah. I'm mad because I didn't get the first set. The first set had like Dracula and Frankenstein and the Bride of Dracula and stuff like that in it. I got the second set that had like the Phantom, the Mummy, the Wolfman, the Creature.
I like how you had the father and the son there because you have the Phantom of the Opera.
That's true. I didn't even think of that.
Senior, yeah, it's Chaney Senior and the Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr.
I didn't even think of that. It's kind of cool.
Very cool.
But yeah, see, I like my new icon there, that Geary from Pop Culture Minefield.
I like
he did the original art, but then I told him, make me look like a vampire, like the kid with the old makeup kit.
Yeah. Cool. You go trick or treating and wear a costume, Tom? Or no?
Not in years. No, I've never I took my kid out when he was younger, but it's been years. I mean, I got custody of him when he was already almost a teenager, pretty much. Or was pretty much a teenager. So by that point, he was already just going out by himself with his buddies. But
of course,
there was I think once or twice when he was a kid, I had him on Halloween and I took him out a couple times. And otherwise, I mean, I dress up to give out candy and stuff. But since I've actually started doing YouTube, it's gotten a lot more difficult. So what I'll end up doing is, especially with Sadie too, on top of it all, she just gets nuts. So what I'll do is I'll just put because also in my house, the way there's cement steps that go down to the main door. So I don't need nobody going down those steps and falling and breaking their necks or something. So I'll just take a chair or something stool, whatever. Put it at the top of the steps, right next to the sidewalk. And I'll put a bowl on there, and I'll try to keep an eye on it as long as I can. And it usually goes well for a while. The little kids will come by and they only take a couple pieces. Then eventually some bratty ass fucking 12, 13-year-old will come through and steal everything. You know, but whatever. It is what it is. Sometimes by that point, what I'll do is I'll try to watch it when the little kids, and I usually have some gimmick I'll have going on. Like last year, I had this little electronic remote control spider. And like when the kids would come up, all of a sudden they'd see the spider go running across down on the, it was like 10 feet away from them or whatever on the thing. So it was like close enough to give them a jump, but not close enough to where they'd freak the fuck out. And it got to jump more out of the mothers and stuff half the time than it would the kids. You know, so I do stuff like that every year. Sometimes I'll just set up a nice elaborate little thing. And the funniest one was the year I was dressed as Freddy. And I didn't want to do the makeup because I didn't want to scare the kids. So I did the whole get up sans the makeup. I didn't even go bald or nothing. And at that point, I still had some thicker hair and stuff. So one kid comes up to me, though. I shit you not. Because I actually had metal claws and everything. He goes, "Your claws are cool, but your Wolverine costume sucks."
Oh, God. Wow.
And I looked at his mom and I said, "Right there's a generation gap."
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, for real.
Because she and I were just laughing after he said that, and because we both had it in our heads, because she knew, you know, that it's Freddy Krueger or whatever. Because I had the whole get up, just minus the.
They see the claws, they think Wolvie.
Yeah, they saw the claws, and that was their instant first thing. Yeah.
Damn.
It's like, how do kids not know who Freddy Krueger is anymore? What?
Crazy.
I mean, I remember when Nightmare on Elm Street came out, Freddy Krueger was one of those things where, you know, it took a little while for Jason to catch on and such like that. But when Nightmare on Elm Street came out, Freddy Krueger felt like he was an instant rock star. Like everybody knew who he was.
Yeah.
Never even have to have seen a movie he was just instantly identifiable in so many ways. Even that silhouette was instantly identifiable. Almost like James Bond. Yeah, 84. Yeah.
84. It was right. It was the year after Robert Englund had been on V, the miniseries.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. And when you see Freddy, you just don't think about that character he played, Willie, that little, you know, shy little alien.
Well, and
you know.
Yeah, he's so like it's a complete 180 from Freddy, right? I mean, because he's the good alien amongst a bunch of murderous aliens who want to use us for food. And he's the one who's part of the resistance. But
he was playing both characters for the same, you know, around the same time a lot, you know. So
that's what he said. It was like crazy time for him because he'd been working for 15 years or whatever up to that point, doing a bunch of character work. I mean, he did like one of Tobe Hooper's earlier films, Eaten Alive. He had been in some Corman productions and such, like Galaxy of Terror. He'd done a lot of B movies, and he always played a lot of rednecks or that kind of, you know, just basically bad guys or heavies or whatever. Never the main guy. Generally, I think in Eaten Alive was the closest he came to being the main bad guy. And that is funnily enough where you get the line, "My name's Buck, and I came to fuck," from Kill Bill. And Tarantino actually was going to have Robert Englund play that part, but he just didn't feel like it would fit right because of his age and all that business at the time. But yeah, I don't know if you ever remember Kill Bill or not, but like, that line when he's in the Buck, because Tarantino says in his book he never remembered laughing so hard to theater when he was sitting there with his mom's boyfriend at the time, because he had a string of his mom's boyfriends. They would always try to relate to him, and generally they were black men, because he said after a certain point his mom would only date black men. So he got to go see a lot of these movies in black theaters. And as soon as Robert Englund said that line, the whole theater erupted in laughter. And he's like, he didn't remember laughing so hard. And he said they both kept saying it over and over again. He goes, and the theater thought it was even funnier that a 10-year-old white boy was sitting there going, "I'm Buck and I like to fuck."
Wow.
It's a great book. If you ever get a chance to read it or listen to the tape on a book on tape, audio book. Cinema Speculation, Tarantino's recent book is pretty good actually. He goes through like a lot of he picks specific films that he remembers throughout his lifetime seeing, because he got to start seeing adult films pretty early on. And I don't mean adult films like XXX films. I mean like
Right. Yeah. Ours and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, because his mom was one of those more free thinking people to where she's just like, as long as the violence has a purpose, she didn't care. Right. Like if it's, there was some stuff she wouldn't let him go see, but like,
Yeah.
and he even talks about that, where the line is and all that business and stuff like that. But it's really good. It's a really good book. I don't know if you're a Tarantino fan or not, but even if you're not, it's just kind of like a trip through memory lane of going to the theater in the 70s and 80s and stuff. Yeah.
I do like some of it. I know someone just mentioned in the chat, Kill Bill is 20 years old already. Wow, 20 years.
Yeah, it's not so much about his movies at all, really. Like, I mean, he may bring them up in passing, but like, it's all about his first cinematic experiences and his most memorable ones. That's where I learned about the movie Rolling Thunder. You ever heard of that one? It has William Devane in it, where he gets a hook for a hand. He was in it's a great fucking flick. Came out right around the same time as Death Wish. I think we brought it up, Nick, as a possibility for Toxic Tuesday, I think, haven't we? I think he might have stepped away.
I don't know that one.
We did bring it up.
Tommy Lee Jones is in it too. And came out like 74, 75, somewhere in there. He's a vet, but he's been in a camp he's been in a prison camp, and he's been tortured daily. And the setup is these guys break into his house to want to steal these coins that he got for when he finally got released, and he was praised and got honored and all that kind of stuff. So they're after these coins that he knows he just got given to him, and so they're going to try and torture him to find out where the coins are. Well, I fucking messed with the wrong guy. He's been tortured for the last few years, so he can put up with a lot of shit, right? So it's like Willem Devane is in it, and like I said, Tommy Lee Jones plays his buddy. It's a good fucking flick. If you like Death Wish type movies, Paul Schrader wrote it. That's right. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Before he did Taxi Driver, I believe, or right around the same time. So yeah, or right after, one of the three. Wow. Yeah, it's around the same era. But yeah.
I know the title, but never seen it.
Yeah, it's a very good film.
There you go, Nick.
It's definitely
it is most definitely gonna happen.
It's on the list.
Yes.
I mean, there's a little bit more to it than I gave you. I gave you like the best.
No, I understand.
Kind of setup to it, but there's it's a pretty good film. Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
Especially if you like Death Wish movies.
I like the first one.
Oh man. I love the first one. Oh, dude, I love 3's my favorite.
Really? Wow.
The Crackdown.
Yeah. I love the first one, the second most. I love
the Crackdown's 4. Yeah. The third one's where is the third one where he gets let loose, or the fourth one where he gets let loose?
Third one's where he lets loose, because
you let me loose.
Last half hour is just a non-stop battle. It's the Battle of New York.
Is there even any cops in the fourth one? I'm trying to remember now. Did you get to the point where they're just like, oh, it's him again, just stay out of his way?
Yeah, I think that's what they're like in number 4.
Never ends well for a cop who gets involved with that guy.
It's well-friended girl who gets involved in his life.
Nobody. We've made this point before. You do not want to know Paul Kersey. You don't want to be in the same room as him. You don't want to fall in love with him. You don't want to be a member of his family. You don't even want to be his friend. And worst of all, you don't want to be his enemy, because all of those things that I just said will lead to certain death.
Yep.
He comes within your vicinity. Your odds of dying just went up astronomically from unnatural causes. Probably an explosion.
You will have died suddenly just being around him. And that's not the dying suddenly that we all know of. This is
yeah, he was COVID before COVID.
He is death.
I was death before death.
Good.
Oh, man, that's good. Oh.
Name's Paul Kersey.
I will say though, even though
he is one of the easiest ones to do a voice for, I'm sorry, he is. It's real simple. You
The
just
second
go
one
down
has
here
its
like this.
shortcomings. One of the best lines was in the second movie. He's like, "You believe in Jesus," and
You're
then the
about to
guy's like,
meet him.
"Oh, you're about to meet him," and he shoots.
It's a good line. You're about to meet him.
Oh yeah,
Tell him I like
so
his
good.
style.
Mm.
No, it's actually Razor Fist who kind of convinced me that Death Wish 2 is a much better film than I thought it was. And I watched it again. I'm like,
Really? I
it,
have to give it a shot and see where his preferences. See, I don't see that one as
there's
strong.
still
I
part
like
of
it.
it that
I like
yeah.
it, but I don't like it as much as 1 and 3. But
Yeah,
I'd be willing to hear his argument.
I've gotten to this point where I love each one of them for their own different reasons at this point.
That's
Except for
fair.
maybe 5. 5 it just kind of falls flat, but
Like,
it's been a
it
while since I've
looks
seen it.
cheap. It
Unfortunately,
looks cheap.
yes. It's a straight to video shit sequel kind of thing. And yeah. Charles Bronson was literally what in his 80s at that point, probably 70s at
If
least.
not. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, got to be close. It was pushing 80.
It was 1991, 2, somewhere in there, 3 maybe.
Right.
I don't know. The Blu-ray should be on its way because Kino Lorber just released 3, 4, and 5 again. But of course, I just bought 3, so I didn't buy that one again. But I did buy 4 and 5 again. What's your first thought? It says, let's give a shout out to all your older siblings for showing us horror movies when you're way too young. Cheers, everyone. I don't know why I changed films to movies, but yeah. It's funny about this. It wasn't an older sibling who introduced me to it, but technically an older cousin of sorts, I guess. So that's similar. So yeah. So true. Except for some of us on the panel, I don't think are very much horror fans like Clavi is.
I like a lot of the old ones. I'm not like a big slasher guy. Like, of course, I love the first Halloween. I think it's a fantastic movie. But no, I love The Thing. I mean, The Shining is fantastic as well.
Yeah, Thing.
It seems like there are exceptions to the horror rule. There's things that'll cross over.
The Thing's not really horror. Yeah.
I mean, you could consider it horror, but I can see that as like a general audience horror. Silence of the Lambs is another example. Aliens.
I like Silence of the Lambs.
Predator is kind of another
Alien
example.
is the horror movie. First Alien's absolutely a horror movie.
Scream was one that went mainstream.
Scream is good.
Because I couldn't believe the people that would, like my cousins and stuff, that fucking hated horror, liked Scream. Really, and I was just like, that was kind of my first inclination that there's something wrong here.
I got dragged to see that in 1986 and couldn't stand it.
1996, you mean?
96, sorry.
I know, you're like me, you're forgetting a decade somewhere in there.
I enjoyed the first movie a lot. I think the first one's fantastic.
I like the first 4. I will say that, but I also will acknowledge what the Scream films did to horror films. The problem was, and this is where my argument between Andres and mine deviates. He says it destroyed horror for years. And, that's it. That's just the way he feels.
His argument to that?
Well, he's not wrong, because after Scream, everything tried to be Scream. But my argument goes the other, at least it takes it the next step further and explains why it did that and why I at least accept Scream but nothing afterwards. Why accept Scream and nothing afterwards? Because they didn't fucking learn anything from Scream. That's why. They just tried to copy it. Instead of going, okay, now that the audience is smart enough to figure out the rules, guess what? We got to flip the fucking script on them. And the Scream franchise should have been the place to do that as well. And they're to blame also because they never did. They never went above and beyond what Scream was. It was Scream 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and 6 are all still the same fucking thing over and over and over and over again. There's nothing really new brought to the table in each one. And all the other horror movies around them, up until you hit like Final Destination, is where things kind of started veering back off into another direction. Yeah. And Freddy versus Jason finally took us back to a point where, like, okay, we remember what old horror used to be like. And that kind of reset things a little bit for a while there. But for a while, it was like, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend. All these movies were just rip-offs of Scream. I mean, to where if you had any horror movie or thriller or suspense film that remotely had enough teenagers in it to look like Scream, you would put them in a triangle, and there's your poster. because it just looked just like Scream. For everything from disturbing the behavior to teaching Mrs. Tingle or whatever they ended up calling it, to whatever else also come out around that same time, insert it here, right? They were all clones of Scream. And it just became one after the other, which is kind of the same thing that happened after Halloween, right? They said, okay, we did this. We did it cheap. We can know how to do it now. We figured out the formula. Then we get Friday the 13th and we get the sorority house massacres and this and then that. And you know what I mean? So it all is the same kind of cyclical thing over and over again. But in there, every once in a while, what you'll get is a Nightmare on Elm Street or a Child's Play, something that'll go above and beyond those, you know, ripoffs. Because I mean, Friday the 13th, let's face it, is really just a Halloween ripoff, but it just happens to be the best of the Halloween ripoffs. So it's considered in that pantheon with the rest of them. But otherwise, there's just nothing but a whole level of just sewage to get through some of these horror films. I love them for their schlockiness, but I'll be the first to admit that, you know, it takes time for horror to kind of run through its cycles. And it does its things, and you have your vampire cycles and your zombie cycles and your Exorcist type cycles or your haunting movie type cycles. And I don't know, trying to make that happen again with the Exorcist. In fact, our buddy Price the Reason is at the new Exorcist movie right now.
Why would
So
they
he'll
do
probably
that?
have a report on that one for.
Why do they make that thing? What's the
Because
point
The
of that?
Exorcist has a built-in audience.
Yep.
Yeah, the real one does.
Yeah, I know.
I would
the
argue
real
I'm
one,
not
but
even so sure it really does, because
No,
that's
I
a
mean,
franchise that has never really been a franchise.
No, it's not a franchise,
No,
but
that
that
has never meant to be a franchise.
It's not a franchise. It's a one only. It doesn't always should it's been a one off. But if people want to think The Exorcist,
I will
they'll
make
say,
an
"Hey, I'd
argument-
like to watch The Exorcist." You go, "Well, this is the one you need to watch."
Exorcist 3 is one of those movies that is better than there has the right to be, but mainly that's because it's the one of the only of the sequels that tried to be different, and you actually had the original writer of the original novel coming in and telling his story, and it's less about the possession and more about other things, right? It's kind of more of a mystery psychological thriller as opposed to The Exorcist, which is just kind of an in-your-face, you know, haunting movie, as I like to call them, or possession film or whatever. But yeah, so the third film, check it out. But like, is Exorcist 2, Exorcist 4, both versions. I can't really recommend them, and why they're doing this, I don't know. In fact, William Friedkin was not too happy about them doing this too. I don't know if you guys saw that thing I posted.
Figures. Really, that figures.
Yeah, he had a quote about this, or somebody quoted him. Let's say, see if I can bring this up here.
Go ahead.
Got to go back in my timeline. It's a little ways back here.
You're going back in time.
I pulled some shit. Okay. This was Ed Whitfield who said this. He goes, William Friedkin once said to me, Ed, the guy who made those new Halloween sequels is about to make one to my movie, The Exorcist. That's right. My signature film is about to be extended by the man who made Pineapple Express.
Jesus.
I don't want to be around when that happens. But if there's a spirit world and I can come back, I plan to possess David Gordon Green and make his life a living hell. Maybe that's what happened with Halloween 3, but I don't know. Friedkin just passed away not too long ago. So
wow. Oh man.
His timing was pretty perfect though, if you think
that guy's
about
in
it.
trouble.
Wow. I mean, yeah. Friedkin was a fucking Chad, man. He was a bomb. He will be missed. He was a real director.
Yeah. I love that he cared about his movie enough to, to be that passionate about it. And say, no, I don't want my movie screwed with. Like sometimes these guys say, oh, I think that's fine. I hope they do a really nice job. Screw them. I hope it really passes on to a new generation for a new. No, eat it.
No, he was always pretty steadfast on what he was doing. In fact, the whole Exorcist, the version you never seen, I'm sure you've heard this. We tell this story before, Clobby, but that version came out of an argument between him and William Peter Blatty, because they're sitting there on the making of the first movie for the DVD. They got them together for a little interview thing, and they're just sitting there talking to each other. And William Peter Blatty goes, there's the two scenes that I really feel like if they really need to be in the film. because if they're not there, then it feels like that the audience gets the idea that the devil has won. Friedkin's like, what the fuck do you mean? How can the audience come away with something like that? That's just ridiculous. And he's like, no, I just feel that if those, I get so many people who ask me constantly, did the devil win? How could they see if they've seen the fucking movie? And he's like, that's just what, if you just had that one scene there at the end and the scene during the exorcism, the break, I feel like that would really hit home the audience that, why this is being done and the devil doesn't win at the end. He's like, all right, fine, Peter. You know what we'll do? We'll re-release the movie and you can sit in the lobby of every fucking theater. And when you walk out, you can tell every patron that the devil didn't win. And from that, he goes, and then they keep talking. And eventually he's like, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe we'll do this. If they let us do this, we'll put the scenes back in and we'll see what the audience thinks. So that's how the whole, that version came about.
Wow.
And then the spider sequence was also kind of part of the reason.
Spider sequence. Oh boy.
That was spider
in
walk
2000. In 2000 when they released that at the theater, I went like an idiot.
Well, I think Friedkin did all that shit on purpose so people wouldn't like it.
Could be.
And honestly, here's my opinion. The way you cut that movie and is a perfect cut is you leave the theatrical cut as is all the way up to the exorcism. As soon as the exorcism kicks in, then you cut to the other version. Because Blatty is right. It is better with the break. Because the break is where Father Karras asked Marin, why this little girl? Why would God let this happen? And he said it's not God. It's it's evil. It's so we despair. It's so we ask ourselves why. It's so we question our faith. That's why. So he felt like that needed to be there, which it is a very important scene that it does kind of help in the film in the context of the movie, especially where it was placed. It does help give you a break in that exorcism. And then at the very end, what you have is the other priest who was giving Karras his final rites at the bottom of the stairs. There's another scene that follows after she comes up to Megan and gets the lock. The mom gives her the necklace from the other priest, and he leaves, and Kinderman walks up, the detective, and they start to talk, and that just kind of sets up that these two now are going to have a friendship, because Kinderman had a friendship through the whole movie with Marin that was kind of blossoming, and Karras that was blossoming, and then kind of came to a abrupt ending. So then these two kind of become friends. So it's kind of like this happier kind of little note at the end of the film, and it also leads into his other sequel, which is that's what it's all about, is their friendship at the beginning. So it kind of picks up from there. So I can see why he wanted that to be in there. But anyway, now that I've wasted everybody's time talking about The Exorcist some more,
Cool.
I'm gonna eat some Starburst.
Yeah. Oh, Starburst.
Which flavor?
Regular. I used to get an orange one.
Oh, I love the orange Starburst.
Jason Webster says the best zombie film, Train to Busan. I've heard about that one, but I've never seen it. Has anybody seen it?
Yeah,
Negative.
Oh, there you go.
saw it because I think that's that 70s rock fan did a show on it a couple of months ago, or maybe it was back in the spring sometime.
That's where I remember hearing about it. Yep. Okay.
It's pretty good.
Cool.
Oh, fast zombies.
I was gonna say, what'd you
Just
like
like-
about it?
Fast
Well,
zombies on speed.
It had a little bit of that low budget appeal, without going overboard. Had the excess that we've seen in recent years, but there was also a sense of danger, but it also not just from the zombies. And I'm all for slow or fast zombies. This movie definitely had the fast zombies. Like they were in hordes and they were fast and they would just overpower you. But also the people were the enemy, because what I really loved about the movie is that it analyzed how people will react under duress in that situation. What are their motivations? Are they trying to get home to family? Are they trying to survive? Are they poor? Are they rich? One of the people on the train, obviously, and this, and I'm not trying to, not spoilers, but works for a company that might have had something to do with it, right? And it really played on the human element. The zombies were a danger, but the human, like the psychology of it was front and center. And I dug how they dealt with it. Totally recommend it, actually. Yeah, see it.
You heard it here first, folks. CC karaoke recommendation.
See it with CC karaoke.
Oh, you've been busted, Tom.
What?
The candy police are here.
Ah, shit.
Mexican Iron Man.
At least he has to show up now. The one time. Jesus Christ.
So that lets you know he was listening the entire time. If he had to respond at that specific moment.
Yeah, you let me go with the whole thing with the Blue Beetle and everything, and then George Lopez and all that business. And now you pipe in? What the fuck? Action Com says, who eats candy corn? The answer, savages who put shit like pineapple on their pizza. Oh. That was a crack at Gary. No. Honestly, candy corn is one of those things that I'm not a big fan of, but I do defend its right to exist because I feel like it is so synonymous with the season. Now, I'm not talking about all those wacky flavors they come up with anymore, but the original candy corn, just as is, it's just kind of one of those things like with, it's kind of like candy canes at Christmas. You may not like them, but they're just kind of part of the holiday. And, everybody has that bowl of candy corn that gets brought out every year that nobody eats, that has been there since 1992. And it's still fresh because it's nothing but sugar.
Yeah. I've always been kind of indifferent to it. It's fine if I see one there, I can eat it. Never hated it, but it's never it's like wax.
I don't mind like the Brock's brand or something like that once in a while, but like now the pumpkins were always like way too much at one time to me. Like when they did the pumpkin version of them, those big fatter ones, like those were like, oh my God, that's just too much at once. But no, like just to munch on them once in a great while. They're not too bad. You got a sweet tooth for them, but I'm going to get yelled at for talking about candy. So,
I want candy now.
Yeah, I should probably go find some real food.
Ooh, candy does sound good.
I did have an apple earlier, Mike.
Wow.
Candy apple?
Don't you dare tell them what I had before the show. I'll kick all your asses. All right. Now that we're under understanding there.
Yeah. You sure?
To me, candy corn actually just tastes like hard frosting. Like, when you leave a piece of cake out too long.
It's like wax.
It is, with that kind of texture, yes. But the taste is like that. Like that reminds me of when you know that last piece of cake that you just you shouldn't eat, and it's still kind of nasty, but but it's still good because it's cake.
Oh yeah,
sounds bad.
I kind of like that slice though.
Some people like that. Yeah, some people like that. The dry piece. The last piece.
The last piece.
All right. Well,
chicken.
With that, I think we're gonna wrap this up. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've done all you can do. Go get something to eat, man.
Nick doesn't take the hints, so we're gonna talk. I guess he's gonna talk about Fugitive tonight. I might hop in for a few minutes. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Great movie. I love that movie.
Yeah,
so I've been waiting to watch it because it comes out in November.
The 4K, the 4K is next month.
There's an example of a remake that even I like because it wasn't really, the TV show had been its own animal, and they just and the story was actually based on some real life thing, and they did use Kimball's name in One Arm Man and all that kind of stuff. I just didn't mind it as much. It's because it was, so well done, but it was a rarity. Really well.
Tommy Lee Jones is a big part of
it. He's great. He's outstanding in it.
Won an Oscar,
on a perimeter from 20 miles circular. That whole thing he does. It was copied in how many other movies, and they even gave him his own movie afterwards, right? With the Jamie Foxx filling in. And I didn't hate that movie either. I thought it was pretty good.
U.S. Marshals was okay.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. So I do love the film. I will try to show up.
No, please, man. If you can't,
it is Harrison Ford.
We need Harrison Ford tonight. There's
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
care.
Remember when we spoke last on the phone? What did you say when I said I didn't
That you didn't kill
my
your wife.
wife? Yeah, dude, powerful
You
stuff.
said
But
you
yeah,
didn't care.
no, it's good because tonight we're doing The Fugitive, and chat.
I lied.
This is your 3-week reminder. Technically one for the first movie, but after The Fugitive, we're doing all 3 Evil Dead movies for the month of October. We will not be around for I will not be around for Halloween. But yes, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness for Toxic Tuesday after The Fugitive. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a blast. It'd be fun to cover all 3 of these Bruce Campbell classics and look at all the versions. And oh my,
This isn't even all of them.
God.
I have a Book of the Dead version of the first
No.
one somewhere I haven't been able to locate yet.
Oh,
So we have the DVD version,
dude, you gotta send me.
we got
I
the
Wow.
Blu-ray, the 4K,
Send me a picture. I gotta show it to
the
Stella. She's
DVD,
gonna, like,
2 different
her mind's
Blu-rays
gonna
of
be
Evil
blown
Dead 2,
away.
the 4K.
Wow.
This is the old Anchor Bay DVD of Army of Darkness, and then I got the Blu-ray and the 4K of that, 2 different versions of the 4K there. Here's the remake and the remake 4K. Here's the show,
Mm-hmm.
Ash vs. Evil Dead, and then here's the newer.
Wow.
I haven't even watched it yet. I gotta find my Book of the Dead version. It's in the Book of the Dead.
Dude. I see how those feel. Okay, yeah, no. You send me a photo of that. I gotta show it to you because that is a huge collection for real. That is nutty, man. Absolutely nutty.
Tastes
Yeah,
kind of nutty.
But anyways, yeah, Toxic Tuesday on my channel, less than an hour. Comic Shop Talk Friday night, and I'll have a video on the new Transformers comic as well this week. Look forward to talk about that. So hopefully that is good. Yeah, thanks for having me. Good hang out with everyone on Mead, and hope to see some of you in less than an hour for The Fugitive, so we can be on the road with Harrison Ford.
That reminds me, I should probably set it up to. I forgot to do that.
What? What
do you got going on, Clobby?
Let's see. Well, tomorrow night, the usual, my wild card Wednesday night, and then Thursday night it's the clubhouse again for the second week in a row. Raquel will not be with us; she'll be back the following week though, and but Mark and I will handle it, and Retro Nerd Girl I believe will be joining us, and so yeah, we got that, and of course. Friday night on my good buddy J-Man's channel, we're reviewing all of Jack Kirby's Fourth World. So if you like reviewing comics and that's your sort of thing, you'll like it. And then I go hang out with the Comic Shop boys on Nick's channel Friday nights 8:30 Central, and Saturday night Star Trek, of course, every Saturday night. Again, without Raquel this week, but then it should be back the following week. So it is 9 p.m. Central for that. And thank you for having me, buddy. I appreciate it. And everybody out there in the chat, have a fantastic remainder of your night and weekend and your week.
Yeah, you do that. And yeah, so I'm sure one of the mods will get the link for the show for Nick. I did finally get it attached to that, so this will lead you over to there otherwise right afterwards. CC, what you got going on?
I'm back in the city with family for the next couple of weeks. We got our Canadian Thanksgiving happening up here. So I'm going to say no karaoke this Friday or next Friday because it'll be kind of hard for me to host that under my current circumstances. But we'll be back on October 20th and probably pretty much every week from there until, well, whenever, sometime next year.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you all soon.
This sucks.